What's going on, guys? Happy Veterans Day. I've kind of been stuck the last few days. I've had a rough few days behind the scenes. The cold weather's been hurting. Um, but I started looking for the Veterans Day kind of post and how do I do it and how do I pay, tribute to the guys that have served. My grandfather was in World War II. He passed away, and you're starting to see that. You're starting to see the generations kind of pass away and pass on. Before we know it, we'll be looking back, and Vietnam will be one of those things where the guys who served will no longer be around to tell the stories. You start putting things together and putting it in your life and how things affect you and what affects you. And the one thing I keep coming back to, and the Angry Marine cassette, he hates when I call him that, but I think it's just a funny nickname. But one of the things that he talks about is tradition and, old school and history. And that's kind of what's lost on the younger generation and the COVID generation. I don't know if they don't know, if they don't care, or if our generation has just done a bad job passing down those things. As I sit back and think about Veterans Days of the past, my father used to run a group down at Old Barnstable's Fairgrounds of about 16 guys from Resi every Veterans Day. Little things like that create memories. I think their generation and our generation did a bad job of kind of tagging those traditions along. Some of the great things and great tournaments and fun events and outings have just kind of gone by the wayside because everything but golf mattered. They used to have a blind draw one day, at my former club. It was big money and it was a fun event and it was a tradition at the club. All of a sudden, it kind of slowly but surely, once the guy that started it left, they kind of ran it down to the point where this year they didn't even have it. Why? Because everything started to matter but golf. The club was taking a cut of the pot. The members were pissed about that. Then the winners were taking off and not coming back inside and spending money. The members got pissed at that. It all became everything but the fun day that it created, and the fun day and the camaraderie at the club and the talking trash about, oh, we're going to get you this year, the side action, the side bets. It just all became political. And then it went away. So how many guys can say the same about their club? We got to do a better job, right? We got to tell the Bob the Builders of the world, fuck off. It is important that the golf course is good. Listen, Caddyshack 2, $5,000, $75 a month food, $25 a month capital assessment. You'd have a fucking line out the door if the golf course was in tournament conditions. Right now, it's not. There's options around that are in better shape. Why would people join that place? You guys keep trying to sell luxury with muni conditions, and that's what happens down in Florida and all these residential places, because it's more about everything but golf than it is about the golf course. Down here in the South Coast, you have one classic. That's it. There's no more Donald Rosses. Anybody that says the Whale is a Donald Ross is full of shit, because even if it was when you started, you've chopped it up and ruined it so many times. I'd love to see them just chop it into 9, build a sick learning center, a little short game area, and then do the industrial park thing that they're doing. That's what they get at Little Marion, and I can't wait to talk about it and give them props, because, man, do they deserve flowers. They're almost creating a cradle vibe in Marion, Mass, at a golf course that used to have weeds growing in the middle of the greens. Why? Because they care about golf. And they went back to their roots and they said, you know what? We're going to take this gem and we're going to polish it to the way that we remembered it as kids. They hit a home run. They're not building giant tents in the way of everything. They're not arguing about fucking pizza ovens. They're not putting cart paths in that ruin the flow of golf. If golf was thought of, you put a dip in that cart path. So everything funnels and the ball stays up by the green. But golf was thought of last. So in the last 3 or 4 years, you've spent $250,000 on doors, tents, and fucking cart paths. And you got a golf course that's in muni track condition. Wake the fuck up. Happy Veterans Day. Let's go.